Hello and welcome to another episode of PsyWicV. And today we're going to do the long format for our videos. So in this format, Dr. Vo and I will be talking about a particular mental health subject, and what we want to accomplish through these conversations is we want to bring out the important nuances of these mental health subjects so we can bring more information to you and your loved ones. And today we're going to talk about the why questions and how it affects your mental health.
Actually, this is quite an exciting topic for me because I get to a point in my career where sometimes I'll say these things and people kind of go, whoa, that's, that's quite different. And I love the fact that it shocks people that it's such a simple truth and simple resolution for a lot of problems, but oftentimes we don't think about it, right? And so the thing we're going to talk about today is the way you ask questions and how it affects your ability to solve problems. Okay. And so the reason in us counselors ask more questions than we do provide answers is because allowing people to answer questions and ask appropriate questions actually allows them to make those connections in their brain that is actually developing healthy coping skills and brings insight that is different than anything we can provide in terms of advice. Okay. And so this process allowed us to walk you through how to ask questions so that you can accept a problem, and then how to ask, what questions to ask to actually get you to solve the problem adequately. Okay, so we can start with an example, right? So something simple to start with. So let's just say Kathy has been working at a company for about 5 years. She's, her manager just left, and her manager is a good friend of hers. So says to Kathy, hey, I think you might be the next person to replace me, right? Because I think you've been here a long time. You understand the ropes of the team. You know how this all works. And so Kathy kind of goes, okay, that's good. That's great that she thinks I have the ability to do these things, but then doesn't follow up on it. So a month later, the upper management brings in a new manager and introduces this person to Kathy. This is your new manager. Kathy kind of goes, why? Why wasn't I considered for this position? So just as you're thinking about this, right? As I'm saying, why didn't I get this position? Where does what are the possible answers?
Yeah, so these kind of why questions are very interesting, because we are not saying that all why questions are bad, but the kind of why questions that make you that make you sink into self-pity and bitterness.
It's
like, why me?
Very common.
Why does the universe do this to me? Yeah. Like, this is unfair.
Why does God allow this to happen to me? Right? Why do all these unlucky things always happen to me? Or worse,
exactly.
Worse is Kathy can say, because they don't think I'm good enough. They don't think I have the skill.
Yeah.
They don't value me.
Yeah.
I haven't done enough.
Or people don't trust me. I don't trust people. Nobody can be trusted. So you see, like, those why questions can lead to very dark places very quickly.
Yeah. So the reason why we want to talk about these things is because when you face any challenges in your life, if you want to adequately solve a problem, the questions you want to ask are not usually why questions. There are usually what questions, when questions, and how questions.
Yeah. Many times, why questions, there is no answer available. Sometimes life is an enigma, and sometimes things happen to you and you have no idea why. And if you're stuck there,
you just don't have the answers to everything. And so what happens is it leads you to a place where you feel stuck. And usually when people ask why, when do people actually ask why questions? It's when some things aren't happening the way they thought it would happen, right? And so they kind of go, well,
Yeah.
why isn't it happening the way I want it? That's usually the first reason why there's a why question. Or usually something happens. I see this a lot with like parents with little kids. They'll say, why did you do that? Right? Why did you disobey me? Why did you mess that up? And the kid kind of goes, well, I don't know. And the truth is, it's probably the truth. They don't know. Something, something impulsively, they thought about something and they did it. It wasn't intentional, right? And so the why questions, while it is helpful sometimes, like when you're sitting around and relaxing and thinking about life and, and you're in a good mood, asking a why question might actually be very insightful. But oftentimes that's not when the why questions come up. The why questions usually come up when we're desperate, when we're against the wall, when things don't happen the way we want it to, right? And so, like Hui says, it's not that we're saying all why questions are bad. We're simply saying, just be careful when you use that type of question, because it might not be the first thing that will lead you to a good answer.
When bad things happen to you, be careful with why questions.
Yeah, all right. So the key to asking good questions that will help you find constructive solutions is you want to ask questions that help you focus your attention on the current facts rather than on past events. Okay. The second principle is you want to ask questions to help you consider all the pieces of the information you have so that you can effectively come up with a good solution or decision. Okay. The third principle is you want to ask questions that really help you focus on facts rather than feelings. Because oftentimes your feelings come before any fact can roll along. So you want to focus and think about the facts. And then the fourth principle is you want to allow yourself to ask questions that will help you deliberate, right, intentionally on the current options you have. Okay. So these are just abstract things, but I'm going to apply it for you.
Yeah. Let's give an example.
Yeah, so in Kathy's case, for instance, the question she might ask is, what's going on? Right? That gives you the idea of, okay, what's going on right now? Let me assess the situation around me to see what factors are at play. And so a potential answer might be, well, my manager thought that I would be a good candidate to replace her. I didn't follow up on that conversation. I didn't apply for the job, and someone outside took the job on. Okay. So now Kathy doesn't have to ask the why question, but she can identify, maybe I could have said something about it. I could have put myself up for promotion, but I didn't. And so, okay, that helps me understand where I'm at. I accept that there could have been something I could have done, but I haven't done it. Okay. But this is a good level of acceptance because I'm identifying the problem that comes with this, the reason that comes with this problem. It's not a fault of mine. It's not like it's a trait, right? It's just I failed to do this one thing and now I haven't been considered for the job. Okay. So another question might be, how will this affect me, right? How has this affected me that I haven't asked or haven't put myself up for promotion? So I just missed out on the opportunity to get promoted because I didn't assertively say, I want the job, right? So what do I want? Clearly, Kathy wants to be promoted because she's been at the job for 5 years and she probably knows what she's talking about. Okay. Now, if that's what I want, who do I have to involve and who needs to be involved, right? So same type of question. All right, maybe I can make my managers or supervisors know that I would like to be considered. Okay. When do I need to act on this? And maybe the answer is, well, as soon as I can, because I can always make people know my intentions. Whether or not they have something available tomorrow, it's up to them. But maybe if I make them know my intention, they can say, you know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I actually have somebody I have in mind who's going to leave soon. and you should definitely apply for it, right? Because that often happens is when you ask, there's usually an answer. If you don't ask, there's not ever an answer that it's going to fit your need. But if you ask, maybe somebody has an idea, or you're provoking an idea in their mind about considering you for a certain thing. It's called planting the seed, right? And so what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to say, okay, yes, I would love to apply for that job. Or they might say, oh, there's nothing available right now. But if you really want a promotion, these are 3 things you can do. Take this certification class, start talking to these people, go ahead and be trained or shadow this person so you can accumulate a little more skills, right? So then they'll give you these ideas. Now you know where to go forward. Okay. So it makes it interesting because you saw how the questions I ask promotes a different trajectory depending on where I'm focusing my answer. So
so I see 2 different pictures,
right?
Like one is self-pity, self-victimization that get you stuck there, and the questions that you just ask, it move you forward into life. Yeah.
So I'm gonna boil it down to 3 questions that is actually very helpful to ask in these kind of situations. So what's happening? We talked about that. So what's happening allows you to accept the situation at current. And then I'm going to say, what do I want? That helps me set the goal. So I am here and I want to be here, right? Now, how do I get there? And then the how do I get there can be, who do I have to involve? What skills do I have to learn? All of those things. But it boils down to 3 simple questions that will help you solve your problems or make decisions effectively, which is, what do I have, or what's going on, or what's here, right? Where am I? Where do I want to be? How do I want to get there?
And
right?
This is also a very philosophical topic. The why question. We have provided the audience with practical steps. So instead of a self-pity why question, these are the more helpful questions that actually propel you into life and move forward with your pain. And it reminds me of this ancient book. It's called the Book of Job. It's a ancient Jewish book that was written somewhere like 6th century BC. Like it's ancient, and it has a lot to do with the why question too, because the main character of the book is this man named Job. Like, he's rich. Like, this guy is rich. But one day, tragedy come and he lost everything. In one day, he lost his house, he lost his children, he lost his property. His wife left him, and he was infected with this strange disease, skin disease that makes him look just disgusting. And he also asked why. And he asked God why. He asked, and he demanded that God, appear to him in person to answer for himself. Why did a righteous man like him have to suffer these things? Because God, Job is described in the book as a righteous man. And an interesting thing about this book is God doesn't answer Job.
He doesn't answer the why question.
Yeah, he doesn't answer the why question. When he appeared to Job, he took Job on a tour to see the universe, to see how complex it is, how just mind-blowingly complex it is. And he asked Job if Job can comprehend all of this at the same time, and if he can run the universe. But there are so many intricate details in this universe that even modern science, modern people, we know pieces of it, but we cannot hope to put them together and understand them as intimately as in the book. The creator himself knows it all intimately, and that is the kind of complexity that Job's mind can never understand, even if he wanted to. And that was God's answer. That's it. Like,
so he showed him. So essentially, what you're saying is God showed him the what instead of answering the why question.
Yeah, like, and Job never learned why he suffered, but it left Job in a place of humility and peace. The moral of the story is that whether you believe there's a God or not, there's, you know, there are cosmic forces that are too complex for us to comprehend. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and we have no idea why.
And that's okay. It doesn't have to be that their ancestors did something bad, that they deserve the trial or challenge in their life, right? It's just that things happen, and it's just beyond our understanding.
Peace only comes when we accept the fact that life is sometimes an enigma, and because if we cannot accept that, we will become a very bitter human being very, very soon. You know, that kind of why questions, why me? Why life is unfair to me? Man, if you keep that up, you will become a very bitter, very unpleasant human being to be around. And peace comes when you accept that sometimes things happen. And all we can do, like you said, is focusing on what we can control right now, like, and work with what we have to move forward in life.
Yeah. So the next time you face any challenges, have to make a hard decision, or have to think through some things, just remember 3 things. What's going on? What do I want out of this? And how do I get there? We hope that this episode had been helpful to you and that our discussion has stimulated some other thoughts in your mind. If you have them, please share, subscribe, and so you can get notifications of our new videos. And if you like this format, also let us know so that we can make more of them. All right, take good care of yourself, and we'll see you at the new episode, another episode in the future date.